Let's say you've got this incredible team member or direct report who consistently crushes their numbers, okay? They are like your die to lose top performer, the one that leadership always points to when they talk about metrics. But there's always a but, isn't there? But every time they walk into a room, the energy shifts. Other team members mysteriously need to take a call so that they can remove themselves from the situation, or your inbox is full with complaints, but nobody really wants to go on record to talk about it. Does this sound familiar? Welcome to Legacy Lounge, the podcast where you'll discover how to lead with purpose and build a legacy that matters. So if you're ready to step into your full potential, show up authentically for yourself and others, and create a lasting impact on the world, you're in the right place. Let's begin. I've got stories for days, and I've got an early experience in managing a very difficult high performer. I am Brin'na Rollins-Williams, and today we are tackling something that came up in not one, not two, but 3 different coaching sessions this week alone. So I know by the end of this episode, it will likely resonate in a magnitude of ways for you as a listener. I want to talk about how to handle those high performers with, let's call them challenging personalities. Here's the thing. This isn't just about having a difficult employee, okay? This is about the complex dance between results and behaviors, between short-term wins and long-term culture, between what is easy and what is right. So let me tell you about a leader that I recently coached. We'll call her Madison. She had the senior team member, direct report, employee, whatever lands with you in your job description pillar, okay? So Madison had this senior direct report who was absolutely brilliant at their job. The client satisfaction through the roof, and the revenue honestly was breaking records higher than the company had ever previously seen. But they were also undermining other team members, creating silos of information, playing political games for no good reason, making massive passive-aggressive comments. I mean, like rude, and acting like they are just untouchable. Here's what makes this so tricky. When someone is bringing in those big results, it feels absolutely terrifying as their leader to have to address their behavior. You worry about losing their performance. You worry about them going to work for other competition. You worry about the pushback from higher ups and that you might be labeled as, oh, you're just being too sensitive. Let them go. Let them do whatever they want. They're delivering. Let me tell you what actually happens while you're avoiding having this very conversation. Your other top performers are the ones that are updating their resumes. And your middle performers are so disengaged that you might as well open backfill positions now, because it is a matter of time before they walk them happy selves right out the door. Your culture is eroding from the inside out. Your credibility is taking a huge hit with it. So let's talk about solutions. So here's what worked for Madison and my other 2 clients that all had the exact same roadblock this week. It's everywhere. I'm telling you. I'm going to give you 3 steps. First, document absolutely everything. Keep a log in the notes section of your phone. Keep a detailed record of behaviors. Note the impact that this difficult person makes on the total team and the projects at hand for the business. Track patterns in the behavior and in their leadership. Track triggers of when you see things start to shift in a negative manner from their behaviors, from their attitude. Track relevant emails, messages, photos. Keep track of it with a problem performer who delivers exceptional results, but is so difficult to work with. Second, get crystal clear in your communication. Clear is kind. You have to communicate clearly in order to be kind to your people. It's not mean, but you have to do it in a way that is crystal clear. So, second, get crystal clear. What behaviors are problematic? State how they impact the direct team, their peers, the larger team, the company, and get crystal clear on what needs to change and by when that also has consequences with them. Third, have the conversation. Have it. So here's your script. I'm going to give you some prompts for this. Your results are super impressive, and that's exactly why we need to have this conversation. Your influence on this team is significant, and I need you to hear me when I say that. But it also means that your behaviors, both positive and negative, have a multiplied impact on the company, the business, and the team. Next step, set clear expectations. Be so specific. When you, specific behavior, it, specific impact. Moving forward, I need you to specific expected behavior moving forward. This isn't optional nor negotiable. Fifth step, follow through. Document the conversation. Set the check-ins. Send a calendar invite. Monitor the behavior closely. Do unannounced, announced, check-in, team pulse visits. Act on consequences if needed in alignment with your company's consequence program process. But here's where almost all leaders mess up. They cave. They cave at the first pushback. Don't be that leader. High performance never excuses poor behavior. Your team is watching how you handle the situation. Short-term results are not worth long-term damage, and you're not being mean. You're being a leader. Clear is kind. Communicating clearly, directly, with a purpose is kind. So, what's the end of Madison's story? She had the conversation. Her difficult high performer pushed back hard, tried emotional manipulation, threatened to leave the role entirely, the whole 9 yards. And Madison held strong. And I do want to make a plug in here from my own personal experience after having a super difficult conversation about one of my own top performers and their incredibly difficult personality and what happened from a results standpoint. Because Madison and I had this conversation this week, and I cannot wait to see what happens in the coming weeks and months with the overall performance. But I do know for a fact from personal experience in a similar situation, after I had that conversation, it was 2 months later, and it was a complete shift in my own team's overall performance. It could not have been tighter, cleaner, higher, more fun. Oh my gosh, the amount of fun that we started having was ridiculous. But why did that happen? Why? Because not everybody is entitled to know the information of the difficult conversation that I just had with my direct report. That's not what it's about. And if you cross that line and you are sharing confidential information with people that are not entitled to know, I will record another episode just for you, because you probably don't need to be in a leadership role if you can relate to that being your problem. But anyways, because everybody started performing so much better, the root cause of it was because nobody had to walk on eggshells anymore. And that is what I cannot wait to hear from Madison. The culture feels lighter. It feels like everyone is having fun. Everyone is connecting. Everyone has a role. Everyone wants to do their best because everybody is playing as one team, one all together from their own lanes. So here's some homework for you as the listener. I want you to think about your top performer. Literally want you to picture them in your mind right now. Look at them and ask yourself, are there any behaviors that you are possibly ignoring or avoiding because of the quality of their results or because of the ranking that they carry of what they're delivering and how that would impact your overall total metric or that individual assignments metrics? Let me know. Let me know what comes to mind. As you're picturing this top performer, maybe you identify something that you're ignoring because their results are so good. Write down what it is. Write down what you've been avoiding and what conversation that you need to have. And then come back to Legacy Lounge and listen to the next episode. Because next week, we are diving into the emotional intelligence side of leadership. And it's so good. Because let's be honest, these situations test all of our emotional buttons. They show us new buttons we didn't even know existed. But when they get hit, it hurts. So until then, I want you to remember that sometimes the strongest thing that you can do as a leader is address what everyone else is afraid to even mention. This is Brin'na Rollins-Williams, and I thank you for joining me today on this episode. That's it for this episode of Legacy Lounge, a podcast dedicated to empowering you to lead with purpose. Remember, leadership begins with you. When you're connected to your values, strengths, and authentic self, you show up powerfully for your team, businesses, and everyone you lead. To authentically lead others, you must first lead yourself. I challenge you to consider, how are you investing in your personal growth to create a legacy that you envision? Thank you for joining me in the Legacy Lounge. If this episode sparked any thoughts or inspired action, I'd love to hear from you. I'm your host, Brin'na Rollins-Williams. Connect with me on LinkedIn or other socials, and let's continue the conversation. Remember, your legacy is built one intentional step at a time.